This is the Detroit Sports Podcast Network.
CBD is a game changer sweeping the nation. This hemp extract is the natural way to elevate your mood, eliminate aches and pains, reduce anxiety, and keep you sleeping all night long. It can even cut your workout recovery time in half. Get in the game today with 20% off all orders of CBD and lavender products from Lavender Lane, a lavender farm located right here in Milan, Michigan. Just go to lavenderlanemi.com today and enter coupon code DETROIT for 20% off your entire order. Guys, look, these amazing products are infused with calming lavender to maximize their effectiveness, meaning your CBD items only take minutes to take effect, which is way quicker than those pills you were about to swallow. On top of it, they are perfect for men and women. Lavender Lane has lab-tested CBD creams, tinctures, and roll-ons that are perfect for any situation, even if you're on the go. Put your health back in your hands by heading over to lavenderlanemi.com and entering coupon code DETROIT for 20% off your entire order of CBD and lavender products. What do you have to lose? Your satisfaction is guaranteed or your money back. So if you need lavender gifts for your loved ones or just looking for the natural way to ease your discomfort with CBD, go to lavenderlanemi.com and use coupon code DETROIT to unlock these miraculous benefits of CBD and lavender. That's lavenderlanemi.com. And remember, use coupon code DETROIT for 20% off your CBD and lavender products from Michigan's own Lavender Lane.
Is there a sports podcast in Detroit that people are talking about?
Hey, everybody, this is Freddie Cohen of ESPN Radio. When I'm not talking about breaking news or breaking news on ESPN Radio, I'm always a fan and listen to the Detroit Sports Podcast, and so should you.
Welcome in, everybody, to the latest edition of Doc and Jock. It's looking like it's going to be explosive. It's going to be a good one. Definitely put on your headphones. Enjoy it. I'm the Doc, John Macaroon. Joining me, my cousin, Adam, the Jock Strozinski. What's up, cuz?
Dude. Dude. What a week so far.
Man, did you get that feeling of deja vu? Deja vu again. The Lions got fucked again. They got fucked again.
Monday, dude. Absolutely insane. Watching the game, I was like, you were feeling good watching this game start. You're like, all right, cool. They do a little trick play to kick the game off. Next thing you know, they score a touchdown, and you're like, all right, cool, we're rocking and rolling. Defense looks good, keeping Aaron Rodgers in check. Next thing you know, they're driving down, and now they're settling for field goals. And at some point, every single one of us was like, this is going to come back and bite us in the ass. And sure enough, it did. But the way it unfolded, I thought was so damn interesting and so damn Lions. Where would you like to start? I'm going to let you pick where you want to start on the poo-poo platter. That is the Lions Monday night game against Green Bay, because that's what it was. It was poo-poo. It was basically shit. The Lions and the referees took a big old dump right on my chest, a big old Cleveland steamer right here between my man titties, and it was diarrhea everywhere. I was so mad. 3 seconds left in the game. I looked at Lorraine and I said, shut the fucking game off. Shut this shit off. I was so mad. And the next thing you know, me and you text messaging at all hours of the night. I got to get up at 4 a.m. and work like a zombie. I'm tired. It was absolute crap. So where would you like to start with the poo-poo platter that was the Detroit Lions?
Yeah, it was unbelievable because you know, it was one of those moments where I'm covering the game, I'm kind of taking some notes, watching along, and obviously everybody flipped out when we saw the flea flicker. It was beautifully executed, surprised everybody. Stafford dropped a dime to Galladay, but then you realize, great, the next play is Matthew Stafford tripping and falling, and you realize, oh my God, you don't get a touchdown there. But they do get that touchdown drive. But when it was 13-0, and then the Lions royally fucked up and, had 12 men on the field, and you go, oh my God, take the field goal off the board, and Green Bay scores a touchdown. You just knew right then and there, okay, they got the momentum. This is not looking good. And then the second half happens, and you're like, okay, where's this explosive offense? What's happened? Nothing's happening. They keep handing it off to Kerryon, and he keeps getting stuffed. Nothing's happening. And then the ref shit started happening, and all the bullshit, obviously started in the second half with Tracy Walker, and then at the end of the game. But seriously, cuz, it was the first time I was watching that game and just going, oh, yeah, this is what's going to happen. Oh, yeah, 12 men on the field. Oh, they fucked up. Green Bay, they're going to get some momentum. Oh, Green Bay's offense versus Lions defense late. Probably going to be Green Bay. I really was kind of numb to it all because I knew what was going to happen. It was just like, I watched it and I'm like, wow. Like literally the game starts at 8. By 9:30, I'm like, damn. 6 hours earlier, I was just sitting there at a microphone going, well, that's going to be interesting to see how the Lions overcome some bullshit and see what happens. And I'm like, I knew what happened. It was like watching another one of those games. And it really didn't bother me all that much because I'm like, oh, I had the Packers winning. I felt like it was going to be that way. Like I said, I told people I felt like it was going to be Packers late. And you just knew that for some reason, something weird was going to happen. And now the newest, the latest, and greatest fuck up from the National Football League is phantom hands to the face penalty. I mean, literally, when you start saying things are going to be fucked up, I said on the preview podcast, it's going to be something we've never heard of before. And in essence, that's what happened, which is Trey Flowers is a well-known, respected D lineman, plays for the Patriots. You never hear this nonsense and bullshit. All of a sudden, late in the game, when it counts, all of a sudden, Trey Flowers is not called for not just one, but 2 phantom hands to the face. And the NFL...
He has never been called for that in his career.
Never, ever.
But in this game, and honestly, this is how I feel, all right? You can call me a lion slap if you'd like, but this is how I feel. Because of who the other quarterback is, he gets that call and he gets that respect. Because it's Aaron Rodgers, he gets that respect. If you go back to Aaron Rodgers' Hail Mary in Detroit, when they had Haloti Ngata lined up in, I think it was like the middle of the field, and so that was the back and forth kind of thing. Do you remember the back and forth kind of thing?
Yes.
And Aaron Rodgers launches that, I don't know, it's like a 55-yard pass. If you go back to that play, there was a phantom foul on that play that led to them getting a new set of downs and being able to heave the ball one last time, and it buried the Lions. It's because of who that quarterback is. He gets that respect. Matt Stafford doesn't get that respect. And it could be because Matt Stafford plays for the Lions. It could be because Matt Stafford hasn't won a big signature game. It could be because, I don't know, insert example X, Y, or Z. I do want to come back to the apathy that you felt, because I felt it too. I was mad, but I felt it too. And I want to come back to that. But right now I want to stay with the referees, okay?
Terrible, man.
Because everybody is upset about what the referees did and how they took this game away from the Lions. And let's call it what it is. You can say that the Lions lost it because the Lions did lose this game, but the Lions were in control of this game right up until the end. And the referees on 2 different occasions, actually 3 different occasions, if you really want to get technical, there was a pass interference down the field with Marvin Jones that there was no call. Now, I'm going to come back to that because I really want to get into Matt Patricia's shit about this because he should have threw a flag there. But let's go to the phantom hands to the face with a guy who has never, ever, ever in his career had this called on him, ever. And you're going to call it twice in a half. Not even a game, in a half.
It's unbelievable.
What?
It's because I don't understand. And then everyone knew. I mean, after it happened, everyone knew. And then I guess what added fuel to the fire was Booger McFarland going, "This can't happen. This is the NFL."
Well, no. Well, this is the thing, though. He's right. This can't happen. It is the NFL.
What do you mean it can't happen? It happens to the Lions every year. What are you talking about?
Know, but you expect the officials to be on their game. You expect them to not take and become part of the story. And that's what happened here. These referees inserted themselves into the storyline of the game. Your job is to call the game down the middle, all right? Not insert yourself in it and become a subject matter or become a topic of the game. Yet, the referees did that. Not once, not twice, 3 times, 3 different occasions. You can go to either a foul that was not called or a foul that was called. And for some reason, those penalties did not work in the Lions' favor. And you can look at the referees as being the topic for that. So the guys who have played in the league, they are absolutely outraged because this happened, because this is what took place. This game took away an opportunity from the Detroit Lions. You will never get this game back for as long as you live. All right. If the Lions win this game, all of a sudden, the NFC North looks dramatically different. It looks crazy different because now Detroit is at 3-2. Green Bay is now tied with Minnesota at 4-2. Everybody is basically within a nose hair of each other, and it becomes that much tighter. With Green Bay winning, they now gain an extra game over Minnesota. Detroit now falls to the bottom of the NFC North. And we talked about how this tie is probably going to come back and hurt them. And it just makes everything look that much worse right now. Honestly, you could make the case that Detroit could be 5-0 right now. They could be 5-0 if they didn't have that stupid tie in Arizona. They didn't blow the game against the Chiefs with roughly 20 seconds left. And what was the other game that they lost? I'm drawing a blank right now. But I mean,
it lost to the Packers and the Chiefs.
The Packers and the Chiefs. You're right. So, and they lose to the Packers. So, and they shouldn't have lost that game because the refs pulled that away from them. All that being said, if you look at this game and you look at how it played out, okay, the Lions cost themselves on numerous opportunities. Okay, you can't get into the red zone and settle for field goals on the road at Lambeau Field against Aaron Rodgers. The Lions did that twice early, okay? At some point, the Lions should have been up 21-0. Worst case scenario, 17-0 they should have been up, all right? Now, you have 12 men on the field. You can't have that happen, not when they're looking to give you the ball back. You have 12 men on the field. Next thing you know, they have a brand new set of downs. You just shot yourself in the foot. You can't do that.
Because they have the most special team penalties in the entire league. They're the league leaders. That's how bad it is this year.
It's absolutely insane.
It's not getting better.
Now you go back to the pass interference call where Marvin Jones was streaking down the sideline and basically gets clotheslined in the chest as he's going to make the catch for the ball. And your head coach doesn't deem it necessary to throw a flag. I was screaming at my TV when this happened. I don't understand why he didn't throw the challenge flag. I don't know what he was trying to save his timeouts for because heaven knows he uses them inappropriately. I'm not 100% sure what was going on with Fatty Patty Matty and this particular situation. I just don't get it because best case scenario, you throw the flag, you get the pass interference. Now you flip the field. You're going from your half of the field to Green Bay's half, and you're threatening. You're basically in a spot because Matt Prater is so damn automatic. You're in a spot for Matt Prater to at least kick another 40 or 50-yard field goal. Big deal. That's an extra 3 points. We're in business, okay? So even if that drive stalled out, you still get 3 points, right? Worst case scenario, they say, no, there was no pass interference. You lose a timeout. Who the hell cares? Who the hell cares? You basically get a timeout here. You get Matt Stafford over. You get the guys over. You get them a breather. You come up with some creative play to then pick up that first down that you're looking to get. I don't understand how this hurts you. I have no idea how Matt Stafford or how Matt Patricia did not throw this flag. I don't get what Matt Patricia was doing here.
I can tell you because if you look across the league, head coaches are throwing the flag, but they're not getting overturned. The percentage of getting that call right.
I get it.
It's not getting called. See, smart.
This is the thing. Okay, if you're a head coach, you've got to put your team in a position to succeed. You can't hurt your team. And a couple of times this season, Matt Patricia has hurt his team. He did it last year, and you're seeing some of it this year. You can't do that to your guys. You put them in bad spots. You put your team in a bad spot by not risking a timeout. It's a freaking timeout, John. You can't tell me that timeout is so damn important. No. Flipping the field and coming away with at least 3 points is way more important than that freaking timeout was.
But don't you go
You know
with
what I'm saying?
Yeah, but I do, but they play the odds, and that's how the Lions do it, and that's how the league is doing it, and that they're going, you know what? If we throw this 97% of the time, they're not going to change it. They're just the new pass interference rule really is just a bunch of bullshit to placate, all the Saints fans. It's not being utilized right. They're not really overturning it and calling it in the manner in which we all thought it would be. It's just basically like, okay, we got a rule in case, in a late situation that a guy takes his helmet and destroys another guy and we don't call it. That's what's going on. There's not a significant amount of challenges that are happening in regards to pass interference that are being overturned or called as a result of the new rule. That's just quite frankly what's happening. So on that, I don't knock Patricia as much as you are.
You know what? Since we're talking, since we were just talking about the refs a few moments ago, this is a message break that is coming from the NFL. I just got it on my phone. So Packers left tackle David Bakhtiari.
Yeah.
Prior to the two flags, he specifically went to the referees and told them to watch for that.
That's smart. That's smart. I think it's awesome.
It's smart on him. Yeah. But that's got to be frustrating if you're Trey Flowers, if you're the Detroit Lions, if you're a Lions fan. That's got to be frustrating to know that is the reason why a guy who has never had this penalty called on him gets it called on him in one of the biggest moments of one of the biggest games to this point this season.
Yeah,
that's
absolutely.
BS, man. That is BS. And you know what? Where's Matt Patricia on the sideline throwing a fit? Like, honestly, grab a helmet, bludgeon a referee, make a stink, let everybody know that you're pissed off. I don't need to see you with your arms crossed and you with your frown face behind your big bushy beard. I don't need to see that. I want to see you kill somebody.
I would have been, if that was me, I would have been like running into the middle of the field and I would have like literally thrown, the playbook, the play sheet down on the ground. I would have been finger waving. Well, yeah, you and I probably would have had to have five guys like taking our finger out of his face.
Helmets. Take a helmet and slam it and smash it into the ground. Let the referees know that you're not to be trifled with. At some point, man, as a damn organization, when is enough enough? When is enough enough?
Never.
You brought up Batgate, right? So when the ball got batted out of the end zone, when Calvin Johnson fumbled on the 1 yard line against the Seattle Seahawks, you brought that up. How many times Calvin Johnson in Chicago with the touchdown, with the catch is not a catch? I mean,
Dallas playoffs.
There you go.
Because four times in the history of this podcast, and nothing's changed. And literally, because today, on Wednesday, as we're recording this, the same shit happened. The league talked to Rod Wood. He said, yes, I talked to the league. The coach is moving on. Matthew Stafford won't say anything. So literally, the same pattern happened. So that's why it's not good enough. It's not good enough. Absolutely wrong.
Let's look at this from an organizational standpoint. As the NFL, the Detroit Lions inside the NFL, okay? The Detroit Lions themselves, they are ran by a female. All right. This is the NFL. Basically, it's a boys' league, right? So instantly, Martha Ford is a minority. She is one of, I believe, two owners that is a female in the National Football League. All right. At some point, as the National Football League, you should be putting her up on a pedestal because she is legitimately a minority. She is a woman in a man's league. Call it what you will. That's the truth, guys. That's what it is. All right. On top of all of that, the Lions as an organization, there is a reason why we have the Thanksgiving Day game. There was a point in the NFL when they were getting ready to collapse. They did not have the funds. They were strapped for cash. The Thanksgiving Day game was a gimmick that the Lions said, you know what? We'll take the bullet for it. We'll play this game. We will do it. So when all the fans and everybody gets pissed off and you got talking heads like Stephen A. Smith say the Lions don't deserve to be on Thanksgiving. No. There's a reason that they're still on Thanksgiving. There's a reason that the league will never, ever take that game away from the Detroit Lions. Because when the league was down and the league was almost out, the Detroit Lions stepped up to help save what is now the National Football League. Okay? So as an organization within this company, that company at some point has to support them. You can't keep letting things like this happen. Honestly, the Detroit Lions have been so damn good to the NFL. At some point, the NFL has to step up and support this team. And I don't want to hear lip service. I don't want to hear, oh, yeah, we made a mistake. We made a mistake. Yeah, no shit, Sherlock, you made a mistake. We're aware. Believe me, everybody knows Detroit.
Yeah, we all know.
We know you made a mistake, all right? At some point, Martha, Rod Wood, Bob Quinn, Matt Patricia, Matt Stafford, somebody has to stand up and say, no, this can't happen anymore. Look at what happened last year with the Saints and the Rams, right?
All right. Okay. Yeah. Exactly. So now I've announced it on Twitter. We've told everybody we're going to do this.
Let me correct myself real quick. Martha Ford is one of, I believe, 3 owners, because I forgot the Saints are ran by a woman as well. Saints, the Bears, and the Lions are all ran by women, I believe.
Okay. So sorry. Go ahead. On Twitter, people are aware that Matthew Stafford will not address this. He's like, I'm moving on to Minnesota. So you will be Matthew Stafford, and I will be Matt Patricia.
Ooh, okay.
If you're Matthew Stafford, and Jeff Rieger has the camera phone and the microphone, and he's putting it in your face, and he says, Matthew, because Rieger asked on Wednesday, he said, Matthew, the Lions seem to be
one of the best in the business, by the way.
Yes, the Lions seem to be getting screwed quite a bit. And why don't you feel the need maybe to speak up? What do you want to say to the rest of the world and the NFL? Go.
I would say, you know what, Jeff? I appreciate you. I appreciate the question. You are one of the best in the business, and you're always here asking the right questions, sometimes at the wrong time, but I appreciate you. You know what? You're right. And I think right now it's about time I do a change of pace, because at some point, something has to change. I don't know what else we can do. I don't know what else we can do as an organization. I don't know what else I can do as a player. We had that game won. The referees took that game away from us. And you can call it sour grapes, and you can call me being a bad sport. I don't care. We had that game won, and the league hurt us. The NFL, the organization that we play within, hurt us as a team. Look at the way the NFC North is now stacked. You know how much more work we have to do? At some point, things have to change. You go back and you look at what happens with the Patriots. I bet you the Patriots don't get a call like that. Green Bay sure as hell doesn't get a call like that. The Kansas City Chiefs probably wouldn't get a call like that. What will it take for the Detroit Lions to not have calls like that go against us? And you know what? I'm tired of it. Roger Goodell needs to do a better job. These referees have to do a better job. I know how much these guys are making. They're well taken care of. You know what? It's time they start doing a better job, because right now they're impacting these games, and it's not right. You're costing teams and you're costing guys their livelihood, and you're costing them wins. And you know what? Wins affect our bottom line, and enough is enough. Next question.
Not bad. I definitely would have included a couple more cuss words, but definitely a little bit more passionate than Matthew. Not bad. I give it a solid B+. Now, if I'm Matt Patricia,
I appreciate it.
Not bad. If I'm Matt Patricia, I'm standing up there. It's Wednesday, and
do you want me to ask you the question? Can we role play?
Go ahead.
Hey, Matt. Thanks for having me in the press conference and not shaming me for the way I'm dressed or the way I'm sitting. But I want to know, at what point is enough for this organization? What is it going to take for this organization to not be hampered by calls like this from the referees?
God damn it, Adam, sit up straight. I see you back there, and I know you're one of those guys that comes in here late, and I know you're one of those guys that's ill-prepared, but I like your question, and it's about goddamn time I look at this situation in terms of, you know what? Here's my checkbook. I'm completely frustrated with the National Football League. I mean, I'm spending day and night here. Look at me. I'm eating all the goddamn food in this facility. I'm not going home. I'm prepping. I am, from an operational standpoint, I am trying to get my team in the best position to win, and goddamn it, I am doing it. I got this defense revamped. I'm trying to stop Aaron Rodgers, and this season I've started off by playing some of the best quarterbacks in the goddamn league. We go out there to Green Bay, all we expect is a fair shake. And this organization, one of the pillars of the community, Martha Ford, an owner that does so much for the league, the Detroit Lions don't deserve to be treated in this manner. It's a goddamn disgrace that I have to sit up here and watch film and try and talk to Trey Flowers, a Pro Bowler, an elite talent that I brought here, and I have to tell him, look, Your technique was fine. The fucking referee ruined it. I had to look Trey Flowers in the face and tell him he didn't mess up. And we're tired of it. This is an organization that deserves a lot better. We deserve a fair shake. We want to go to Lambeau Field, and we want to play the Packers. We don't want to play the Packers, their fans, and some bogus referees. And quite frankly, I noticed from a standpoint of the age of the referees, God damn it, 69-year-old referees should not be fucking out there on the field in key moments. 69 years old? He's 69 years old. How the hell is he out there and, someone that's supposed to be making calls at critical times? 69 years old. It's unacceptable. Me, Rod Wood, Martha Ford, we're going to be on the phone day and night until we get answers, until we get a public apology. To all you guys watching, look, sorry for the cuss words, but I'm going to say this. If this continues to happen, then the NFL will cease to exist. This issue with the referees must be addressed, and I'm so happy for the national outcry, but we've been dealing with this fucking bullshit for damn near 2 years, and it's going to stop now, today. This will not happen in any other game. I don't care if we need to have one person hired per game to stand there and make the calls right. Get the goddamn call right. It's a National Football League. It's unacceptable that I got my coaching staff here working 100 hours a week, sleeping on damn near cots, not seeing their families so that we get fucked in a key game that we need. And it's about goddamn time it changes. I'm tired of the lip service. I don't give a shit about no apology. I don't give a flying fuck about who calls and apologizes. Fix the fucking problem with the referees. There. That's what
I like it. I like it.
And I don't care if the fine was $1 million. I would have said, you know what? Fine me my whole year's salary. Fix this problem.
It'll be a couple $1 million.
Yeah.
Heavily censored as well.
Exactly. Beep, 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 beep. They're like, we think Matt Patricia has no longer been accepted as the coach. We're going to have an organization, all the owners are like, what's going on here? But I mean,
hey, you remember when Matt Patricia got called into the Martha Ford's office and talked to about his beard, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, she's going to be calling him in the office like, we can't conduct ourselves like that. Sorry.
Yeah, because and at the end of the day, what sucks and what everybody's mad about is it's going to keep happening. I mean, It's so bad that we're predicting it. We predicted. I mean,
you called it.
I said it was going to happen. I'm like, okay, I actually kind of wanted to see it. I wanted to see the Lions overcome it. They're just not good enough just yet to overcome it, but they're playing better football. It just sucks that, a couple calls that did not go their way affected what's going on. But, I do hope they rebound this weekend versus Minnesota, but with the Lions, this one could also come down to the wire. Of course, the Vikings were struggling earlier in the year. Their issues with the wide receiver and Kirk Cousins, and, they're having issues, but they hugged it out, I guess. And, Kirk Cousins looks a lot better in the last 2 weeks. So I do think the Lions are going to play well, and I do think they're going to get a couple calls go their way, at least on Sunday. But, it's going to be hard to predict what's going to happen this Sunday. I just hope they rebound and play a lot better and a lot, I hope they play mistake-free football, at least for a significant portion of the game.
Yeah, this is one of those games that it really could go either way. It kind of depends on which Kirk Cousins is going to show up and how impactful Dalvin Cook is. If the Lions can figure out a way to contain Dalvin Cook, I think they've got a great shot at winning this game. I think the secondary for Detroit can shut down guys like Thielen and Diggs, or at least keep them moderately controlled and contained. Really and truly, the key for this game for the Detroit Lions is going to be up front. What can their defensive front, what can that D line, and what can those linebackers do to bring the house and put a ton of pressure on both Kirk Cousins and Dalvin Cook? I think those two guys on the offensive side of the ball are going to really tell you how this game is going to go. Because if Kirk Cousins has time and can find his receivers downfield, and if Dalvin Cook can get loose and they utilize him effectively, it's going to be a long, long game for the Detroit Lions, and there will be no rebounding. It will be another shellacking, and it will be embarrassing.
Yeah,
so,
the biggest thing the Lions have to improve is they got to run the football. I mean, I got a chance to finally watch a great series called Do Your Job, and it recapped the Patriots and their run to the Super Bowl, and you just see that they recognize, they go, wow, okay, we can run the football. And they went to 4 consecutive runs, and it was just nice to see that last year. Remember, when the Patriots struggled, they went to Sony Michel a little bit more, and they went to more of a run-style offense, and it worked. And you just realize, wow, the Lions are trying to do it, but they're not able to execute it. I mean, Kerryon Johnson, are we going to have to wait until we play the worst rush defenses in the league until he's productive? It's concerning at the highest level to me. But those that are optimistic, and I'll get your sense of this before we take a break, are you a little bit more optimistic when you kind of look ahead to the schedule? Because, they've gotten kind of through the first 5 games at 2-2-1. They have an opportunity at home to win against the Vikings. Then the schedule kind of eases up a little bit where you play the likes of the Raiders and the Giants, and you start playing teams that really across the board aren't as good as the teams you played in the first 5 games. Are you a little bit optimistic the Lions could get on a run here?
I am, but you know what? I need a good showing this week because I think the Vikings are a team that I don't think they're great, but I think they're dangerous, if that makes any sense. So I think if you have a good showing, you get a win here, I think you beat the Giants. I think you can beat the Raiders. I don't believe in the Bears. I think they're trash. I think the Cowboys are trash. The Redskins are garbage. They've already fired their head coach. And then you come back and you play the Bears again. So, yeah, I think you can make a little bit of noise this second half. Remember, when we were going through our predictions for the season, we all looked at that first little bit, those first 5-6 games of the season. We're like, man, that is a bear. That's a bit of a mountain. If somehow they came out at the end of it at 500 football team, we all said we would take it. Hey, guys, guess what? 5 games in, they're a 500 football team. None of us are happy about it because we've seen what could have been. This is a team that could possibly have been 5-0, but still, early in the season, we said, hey, they come out of this and they look like at least a decent team. And I think we all believe this is now a decent football team. It just hasn't figured out how to close games out, and it hasn't really figured out how to win the close one. We would all be excited. And that's kind of where we're at right now. So I guess maybe us losing our shit and overreacting a little bit, maybe we need to turn it down a notch. Still be upset about it because you should be upset about it. But this team looks like it's projecting in the right way. You know what? I need a win against the Vikings. Look, you split against the Vikings. You win at home. You lose on the road. I'm cool with that. You beat the Bears 2 times. You beat the Giants, Raiders, Cowboys, Redskins. Dude, now we're talking. We're talking about a team that is contending, and I believe at that point we would be talking about a team that is maybe in first place in the NFC North, maybe nipping at Green Bay or Minnesota's heels for first place while they're controlling second. And at that point, honestly, I think you have a wild card spot at least locked up. So dude, you're right. This is a stretch where they could definitely get on a roll.
Yeah, it's going to be tough. I think realistically, the Lions are staring 8-7-1 right in the face. I think 7-8 wins is where it's going to be. Improvement, ups and downs, but they just got to find that last little piece on how to win. Good teams win these close contests, and I think they're right there. They're competitive, they're working hard, but they still are not good enough to not make boneheaded mistakes. And if they can improve special teams, run the football, a little bit more pressure at key moments, and make those plays late and overcome them, then I think there'll be opportunities maybe to get to 9 wins, but I just don't see the Packers falling off. They look good. They look legit. So I think the wild card is going to come from the West. So you're going to have to kind of win a bunch of games in a row, and then maybe that final game at home versus Green Bay, you get that revenge opportunity. So it's fun. Definitely it's a different team. It's fun to talk about the Lions, but again, it's more deja vu, and that's how we'll sum it up was, you watched it and you were like, oh, okay, yeah, more of the same. That's a Lions game for you. We know
it really was more of the same.
More of the same. That's what it was. All right, let's pay some bills. Let's show support to the great sponsors of the Detroit Sports Podcast Network. Doc and Jock here for the Motor City Pawn Brokers. The Motor City Pawn Brokers are the one-stop pawn shop when you're in need of short-term cash or are looking for quality, brand-name new, and pre-owned merchandise with locations in Detroit, Ferndale, Roseville, and Warren. Their mission is to deliver exceptional value. Today, go check out MotorCityPawnBrokers.com. You can check out all the great deals. You can see where the locations are at. If you're in the vicinity of one of the locations, go inside and ask for Mark, ask for one of the crew members there. They provide great customer service. They spent the last 10 years trying to change the perception of pawn shops. Mark and the crew there, they provide great customer service, and they definitely want to build relationships with their customers. Again, for all information regarding the Motor City Pawn Brokers, go visit MotorCityPawnBrokers.com. If you've agreed or disagreed with anything at all that you've heard on this edition of the podcast, feel free, head on over and download the Flick Chat group chat application. What is Flick? Well, it's Detroit Sports' newest headquarters where we can chat during live sporting events. We can watch wrestling. You can download the latest podcast from our network. All you got to do is go to your favorite app store, whether it be on Google or iTunes, and you can type in Flick Chat. And once you sign up, it's real easy. Drop an email in there. Then you're in the headquarters, man. It's fun. It's a group chat application. If there's a live game going on, we're dropping opinions. If you're a fan of wrestling or a fan of the Lions, Tigers, Pistons, Wings, if you're frustrated, being that the NFL screwed your Lions once again, or you're mad that Matthew Stafford just refuses to stand up for the Lions in any way, it's a fun application to go and talk and interact with other Detroit sports fans. And it's an active group. I'm really happy so far with how the group is going. Daily interaction, daily topics, a great Detroit sports forum. Head on over and download the Flick Chat application. All right, cuz, turning from one situation to another, I want to start with Michigan State because of the fact that it was in essence, it was an ass kicking. It was a turning point for the culture of the Michigan State football team. And, after the game in which, you get destroyed, you don't play well, you go out there and you get embarrassed by Wisconsin. A legitimate question was asked, probably the only thing that people want to talk about. They don't want to talk about your defense. They don't want to talk about your quarterback. They want to talk about, and Hondo Carpenter from SI, he asked, Mark, look, it's 7 games in against ranked opponents. Your offense isn't doing shit. He didn't put it that way, but he asked Mark point blank, do you think it was a mistake? Or if it's not, how are you going to correct this offense? And Mark Dantonio really, kind of took the low road in saying that it was a dumbass question. Look, you don't want to answer a question. You think that it's a bad time question. You say, look, it's, 7 games in. We'll look at that at the end of the year. That's all you got to say. Or you say, you know what? In this day and age in 2019, you can put your face in the microphone and say, you know what, Hondo, I'm just not going to answer that. And go on to the next thing. That's it. It's so hard. But to call it a dumbass question really was, I think, a crack in the armor for Mark Dantonio. It's getting to him. He's not maintaining his composure. And at the end of the day, the Wisconsin game was the beginning of the end. It's over. Everyone knows whatever's going to happen at the end of the year, there's going to be a new offensive regime. The question really at hand is going to be, is Mark Dantonio going to be around? Should he be around? Because more losses are coming, probably to Michigan, probably to Penn State. You're going to get destroyed in a bunch of other games, and you're starting to see it now. Every time, a week passes, some other kid's going into the transfer portal. And you start looking at recruiting, you start looking at the entire program, it's just stock way, way down. And it's disappointing at this point in time to look at it that way, where really the only goal left is going to be just perform well, try your best against Michigan, and hope for a miracle. But the performance, the game plan was completely unacceptable against Wisconsin. And in my opinion, I'm over it. It's done. I'm ready for the next guy. I think Mark Dantonio has made epic mistakes, and his offense is not getting better. And it's a critical lapse in judgment when the biggest issue at hand is staring you in the face, and the whole world knows it, but you don't. That's the problem. You got to be ahead of the curve. You got to be 2 chess piece moves ahead of everybody else. You can't be on par with me. You can't be on par with Adam. You can't be on par with all the radio media pundits who are telling you that, hey, your offense sucks. And you're like, no, I'm going to keep the same staff that's running it. I mean, once you got your ass beat by Alabama, we said it like, dude, okay, you brought the team to the edge of greatness right there at the doorstep. You played a team like Alabama and they whooped your ass. They embarrassed you at the height, where you got, I think, shut out, right? They got shut out, or they scored what, 5?
Yeah, no, they got shut out.
They got shut out. And that was a team that had Connor Cook, and that was one of your teams that we considered to be a decent team. So you look at the scenario and you say, at that point, you should have said, you know what? We're here. We're close. You should have maybe taken a year or 2 step back, instead of now in the last 3 years having years where you lose 5 games, then you win 10, then you lose 6 again. That is not the staple of where you need to be going. Mark Dantonio has driven it into the ground. It's over. And unfortunately, we have to witness it, because I don't see anybody really, challenging him to change a whole heck of a lot. So at the end of the day, his time is done. It's a new era in college football, and either you're on the train to success or you're not. And right now, Michigan State is on the road to being a loser program.
Yeah, I mean, really and truly, it is interesting. If you just take a step back to when Michigan State won that Rose Bowl, and I think Michigan State was probably at the highest of the high there. And now you fast forward a couple years, and it really does feel like it has crumbled down around Mark Dantonio. And he has nobody else to blame but himself. Going into this year, the one thing that you and I were calling for is you need a new offense. If you're Michigan State, you need a new and innovative offense. Yet Mark Dantonio just kind of moved the chess pieces around on the board, didn't really do anything, didn't bring anybody in, didn't bring any type of creativity to the plan. He just ends up giving Mark Salem the nod, and you're like, here, go ahead. You call the offense. Let's see what you do. And it looks really, really similar to what you were getting last year. You're not putting your players, again, we talked about it with Matt Patricia. You got to put your players in a spot to succeed. That's a good coach. That's what good coaches do. Mark Dantonio has not put his guys in a position to succeed. That defense going into the year was incredible. We talked about how this defense is going to keep the offense in games. The offense just has to be decent enough to not cost you. And yet that defense is getting worn down. It's getting beat up. And it's because that offense is putting you in bad spots time after time. Why? Because the coaches and that coaching staff has put you in a bad spot because going into the season, you didn't make any moves. Mark Dantonio's loyalty is going to be the one thing that undoes his tenure at Michigan State. And honestly, if you're head of Michigan State, look, applaud Mark Dantonio for everything he's done. He's been great. He's been excellent. All right. At some point, that stubborn chip on his shoulder has now gotten him in trouble. And now you have to look for the next guy to succeed him. You have to find the next guy to take over for him. And this is where a situation like having a guy like Pat Narduzzi, I think, would be exceptional. Maybe you could go to Pitt and get Pat Narduzzi back if you wish. I don't know if he wants to come here, but honestly, you need to find the next guy to take over for Mark Dantonio because he's just not cutting the mustard anymore. He really isn't. Yeah. And speaking of a guy who's not cutting the mustard, Jim Harbaugh is another one. This is a guy who is now 1-9 against AP top 10 teams.
Wow.
This is this game that just took place this last weekend is a prime example of how Jim Harbaugh has failed as a head coach. This offense gets off to a decent start. At some point, they fall asleep in the third quarter. Next thing you know, it's 28 to 25. And honestly, Illinois is crap. I don't care that Illinois is at home. Illinois is a shit team. They are absolutely awful. Lovie Smith, decent coach. Actually, he's a horrible college coach. Like, let's just call it what it is, guys. He's a horrible college coach. Go look at their record. They are abysmal. Jim Harbaugh lets his team fall asleep at the wheel. Illinois jumps back in the game. And then you got to turn it on. You got to go all out in that fourth quarter to sit there and seal the deal and win that game. That game was way too close in the third quarter, at the end of the third quarter, for a team like Illinois. Illinois is not a good team. And you go back and you just kind of look through just the season. You don't even have to go back very far. Just look at this season, okay? They beat Middle Tennessee State, who's not a good team. You struggle against Army, who Army has a decent defense, but you know what their offense is. I think they ran the ball like 56 times in that game. So stack the box, bring everybody up, and punch them in the mouth. Your defense couldn't because they're soft. All right? You beat Rutgers. You get shellacked by Wisconsin. So you play a good team, and you get destroyed. You beat a garbage team like Rutgers. Awesome, bro. Awesome. You know, and then you look at the Illinois game. You got guys who are falling asleep in the middle of the game, and you almost blow that. You let them climb back in it and get a little bit of confidence. Go look at the Iowa game. That is another prime example. Iowa's not a good team. Iowa's played nobody, absolutely nobody. You were able to score 10 points. You're able to score 10 points in the first quarter, and then after that, you couldn't put any more points on the board. This has just been a disaster of a season. It's been a disaster of a tenure with Jim Harbaugh at the helm. It has gotten, I would say, progressively worse. I think when Jim Harbaugh stepped in, obviously there was some talent here because he was able to coach these guys and get some respectable wins and get them to a decent bowl game and get some wins. But you look at where it's at right now. If you're a Michigan fan, tell me honestly, what gives you confidence about this team? Because I'll wait. And guys, please tweet me, Facebook me, Instagram me. Honestly, let me know. Most of you guys have all of my socials.
Yeah, you did.
Let me know.
Now, you did get into a debate with somebody that argues the main point that's against what you're saying. And some people that are still supporting Michigan will say, look, despite all the struggles, despite, Illinois coming back.
They're 5-1.
They're 5-1. They're 5-1. Hold on. Let me set the table. They're 5-1. That even though they did, lapse in that third quarter, they still made the key turnovers. That this is a team that, yes, it's not perfect, but they win the game. And, being 5-1 with all their goals ahead of them, why is the Jock being so negative was what you debated with a supporter. And tell everybody else that wasn't in on it what you replied to that.
Oh, man, I have to find that tweet. I don't remember off the top of my head.
Okay, but basically it was a supporter that said, "Look, why are you so negative? It's a 5-1 team, and that Harbaugh is not really. It's not all as bad as you're making it out to be."
It was something along the lines of basically use the eyeball test, right? Go watch these games. They haven't done anything. They haven't. Like at no point do they give you a certain level of confidence. They don't make you feel like they have the potential to win anything. I mean, when the Michigan schedule comes out, right? As a Michigan fan, you immediately go to the Ohio State game and you circle it. And you say, cool. And then after that, you look up and you find the Michigan State game and you circle it and you say, okay, cool. And then at some point, if they're playing Notre Dame, you find the Notre Dame game and you circle that too. So I've got 3 games instantly circled that I'm ready to rock and roll for, right? I've got plans made. I'm getting effed up. We're drinking. I'm probably going to the games. I'm going to tailgate. It's going to be awesome and fantastic. And then the season starts and you look bad against, they didn't look very good against Middle Tennessee State. All right. Everybody gave them the little nod, all right, cool. It's first game. Get the jitters out of the way. This is a great way to open the season. You won. Cool. No big deal. All right. Then you go to week 2 against Army and you're like, that's not very good. This team, very lucky to get a win. And it just, a lot of things didn't make sense. Like, how is this defense this soft? Then you play Wisconsin and you're like, holy shit. Like, we are this bad. We're this bad. Like, our defense can't stop anybody. Our offense is a freaking mess. Our quarterbacks can't stay healthy, can't throw the ball. They fumble the ball all the time. It's a complete disaster. Who's our running back? Does anybody know? I think they're on the side of a milk cart. It's not been very good. And then you basically play Iowa to a stalemate. I mean, what's giving you confidence here? Yeah, you beat Rutgers. That doesn't count. Yeah, you beat Illinois. You almost blew that game in the third quarter, guys. You almost, honestly, Illinois is trash. You almost blew that game in the third quarter. Again, nothing here is giving you confidence as a Michigan fan, nor should it. You should be taking a more inquisitive look at this team and saying, what's wrong here? What is the real issue with this team? Because, again, Recruitniks will tell you this team and Jim Harbaugh goes out and recruits nothing but 3, 4, and 5-star guys. You got all the talent in the world, yet you can't make it happen on the field. No. So there's got to be something wrong in the pudding. And I'm just pointing the finger at Jim Harbaugh here and his coaching staff.
And now it's the critical 2 games. Penn State on the road, come back home and play Notre Dame. If you go 0-2, I think it will spell, similar to Mark Dantonio, probably the beginning of the end for that regime. You can't go 0-2. I think, especially if you lose Notre Dame at home under the lights, people all day partying and getting ready for that contest. Oh, my God, cuz I think it's going to be tough this week at least, and you just better hope that you play a decent brand of football, and if you lose, you only lose like maybe 3 to 10 points. But I think it's going to be a tough game. I'm not seeing a lot of edges that Michigan has. I mean, if they force some turnovers, if they can control the ball with the run game, the problem is that offensive line makes mistakes, and cuz I have not ever seen a college football team fumble at the rate that I'm seeing Michigan fumble the goddamn football. It's like
I think it's like 19, I think, on the season, which is unbelievable.
It's unbelievable that Michigan can't control the football and makes that many mistakes. But if you make mistakes against Penn State, you're getting run out of that gym. So I just, I don't know. I think it's going to be tough to defeat Penn State, but I think you have a better chance, a better than 50% chance against Notre Dame. But I'm thinking 1-1. How are you viewing the next two games?
0-2.
Oh,
Honestly, 0-2.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know how Michigan gets a win against Penn State. Look, you brought up running the football, and I agree running the football would be key here. But Penn State does a few things very well, and generally they have a decent running back who can run the ball, and they have that this year. And their run game is usually pretty decent, and it is again this year. I just don't know how Michigan gets a win against Penn State. And look, I'm in the heart of Irish country. All right. I mean, everywhere I turn, I see Notre Dame fans. I work with them all day long. I have to hear them talk all day long. I'm not 100% sure. I mean, my sports talk radio down here is Notre Dame. It sucks so bad, guys. You don't understand. It is brutal. It is so incestual down here. It's freaking bonkers. I don't know how they win that game. I really don't. Look, this is a Notre Dame team that went toe-to-toe with Georgia. Yeah, I know Georgia lost a close one to South Carolina this week, but Georgia's still a pretty damn good team. And this is a team that just survived against USC. I'm not sure Michigan would survive against USC. I think Notre Dame is going to come into the big house, and I think they eke out a victory as well. And we'll talk about it more next week. But I've seen nothing from Michigan, whether it be their offense or whether it be their defense this year, that gives me any hope or any faith in anything. You talked about the fumbling problems with Michigan and their offense. They can't hold on to the damn football. At what point are you like, oh, this will be cool. We should be able to produce something here. No, because the moment that they kind of get going, Shea Patterson or maybe one of the running backs or even one of the receivers in the open field fumbles the football and they turn it over. Next thing you know, they're going back the other way. That defense hasn't been able to take a punch to the face and then punch back. They get socked in the face and basically they go home crying. It's a complete and utter mess. Josh Gaddis's offense sucks, guys. I'm not sure if you're aware. It
bad.
Sucks.
It's not. It doesn't suit Shea Patterson at all. The offense, is really brutal. So it's gonna be tough. So one last topic before we get out of here, because you and I were discussing it and we're looking at how bad Michigan has performed and how they've looked and how inept and the poor decision making that Dantonio has rolled with the last couple years. Do you see a scenario, any scenario in which these guys leave together at the exact same time at the end of the year? Because I think it's possible that they're like, screw this. I've had enough. It's 5 years. We just lost to Ohio State. Everybody's hating on me. It's not the same. I'm 5-1 and people are now judging me based on my performance in the game and how I win. If I win by 4 points, it's not good enough. And Dantonio is fielding questions from, media members about his decisions. It's not fun. I'm just not sensing that these two guys just are the right guys anymore. It just feels like, you got your grandpa running an operation when it's time, he's holding on to the company and you got the young hotshot and you're like, dude, okay, give me the fucking keys to the company. Let me run it and take it to the next level. And we got two old guys that are setting offenses back to the 40s. And you got guys that are not really taking, control of their programs. I just kind of get a sense that maybe 40%, both of them leave at the end of this year and just say, forget it, because now is the time. The bumpy road is ahead with a lot of criticism probably ahead for both. But if you were to ask me which one is likely to go first, I think it's going to be Dantonio, because I think the whispers are getting a little louder. You're hearing a little bit more of them that he may just retire at the end of the year. He may just say, 4 or 5 losses, not fun anymore. I'm almost in my mid-60s. Do I really want to rebuild this? Because in essence, at the end of the year, if things go properly, management from the athletic department should go, Mark, I'm sorry, you got to blow out your staff. Each and every person associated with your offense has to go. And then Mark's going to have to test his loyalty, and I don't think he's going to want to do that. He'll just say, you know what? If they go, I go. and we begin the process of moving forward, because that's what's supposed to happen. You just got to go, look, Mark, sorry, you have to blow out everybody. Salem, Warner, everybody associated with that offense. Bye-bye. See you later. It's not good. It's embarrassing. It's not helping anybody. It's not helping recruiting, attendance, morale, television viewing. Nobody wants to watch this. Blow everybody out. And I don't see him just going, okay. So I think it's going to be Dantonio, and I think there's a good chance it's both at the same time.
Yeah, I can definitely see both going at the same time, just because at this point the pressure in the hot seat is getting increasingly warmer. I think you're right, though. If I had to pick one of these head coaches to leave before the other, it would probably be Mark Dantonio, and it's just because, again, his loyalty to his guys is his biggest downfall.
Okay.
It's his biggest issue.
Okay.
And I think Harbaugh is such a red ass that he's like, I can get this right, I will fix it. And I think him and Ward Manuel have this weird affinity for each other.
Now I got to ask you one tough question before we get out of here. Okay, You probably would then safely assume that if the pressure is going to be the hottest, it's going to come on the heels of an ass-kicking from Ohio State. Because if you lose again by like 30, 40 points at home in front of all your fans and all your supporters to a first-year guy, and you get run out of Ann Arbor in the big house, could you, Adam, conceivably root against Michigan, knowing that, okay, if Michigan gets their ass kicked, then there's a good, strong chance maybe that the heat gets so hot that the heat will be so hot that Jim Harbaugh will just have to walk away. Would you root for that if you knew the end result would be Jim Harbaugh leaving or getting fired?
Mm-hmm. That's a really good question.
Yeah, at the end of the day, Jim Harbaugh is getting fired with an ass kicking from Ohio State. Do you root for that?
Yeah, because I want change. Start now.
You have to. You have to. Yes. You got to root for that ass kicking. You got to, unfortunately, for 1 year, and you might sound like a bad fan. I think Putty just died right there listening to that. Sorry, Mike. Adam said he's rooting for Ohio State. I think you might have to turn in your colors, because I don't think really a lot of fans would admit that, but that's the right thing to admit, is that, if Ohio State blows out Michigan and it's bad, like 45-3 kind of bad, then you're going to see changes.
Yeah, no, you're right. You have to, right?
Yes, so you got to root for it. You got to root for an epic disaster for Michigan, down the stretch. And unfortunately for you, cuz if you want what you want, you're going to have to start rooting potentially for some losses to rack up. Sorry.
You know what's messy is both of these teams are in shambles. You brought up the transfer portal. Yeah,
garbage.
You brought up the transfer portal with Michigan State. I mean, I think they've had like 4 or 5 guys in the middle of the season already enter the transfer portal. Like, they're trying to get out of Dodge.
We got 2 running backs, and the quarterback situation is not promising. It's just, unfortunately, it peaked. It's stale, it's peaked, and everyone's ready for something new, and that's just the way it is. So now I can't wait to see Under the Lights, 7:30. I can't wait to see what Michigan brings against Penn State. Maybe they'll win it. You never know. But if not, to tune in next Thursday to Doc and Jock. Follow Adam on Twitter at AdamRSTROZ. Follow the network at Detroit Podcast. If during the game versus Penn State you're not thrilled, give us a voicemail, 248-579-8686. We'll play it, and then we're going to leave you guys with some of the voicemails that some of you guys left us. You were not happy after the Monday Night Football game. We'll play some of the voicemails. Thanks, cuz.
Absolutely, man. Good show.
All right, let's check in on some of the voicemails. Again, you can call anytime you want, 248-579-8686.
Hey, it's Josh in Detroit.
That's not a good call. No. You don't like that call. I don't like that call. Not a very good call.
Okay, I just want to give my take on the NFL officiating today. So this was already an issue going into the Monday night game. Pat McAfee was talking about it before the game. That's what makes it an even bigger issue today. So when talking about this, the NFL officiating has officially become terrible. They have called 1,638 penalties through the first 6 weeks, which is almost 200 more than any other season in recorded history since 2001. What I mean by recorded history is when they started recording the stat. Almost 200 more penalties than any other season. That's a little bit ridiculous. Before the season started, they had an idea about a sky judge, about something that could possibly overturn a penalty. This season, we're seeing why we need it more and more. Whenever it's becoming an issue like this, It needs to be fixed week of. Tom Brady said something about it one week, and next week the penalties went down, but yet here we are, and we still have the most penalties, even after that comment, through 6 weeks of football. This is something that is detrimental to football, is losing major viewers over. This will kill football. Not injuries, not players. NFL officiating will kill football.
This was locker room talk.
Second dick.
Sorry, Detroit. Didn't quite work out.
And all I can say is Detroit Sports Podcast scores.
I have voices in my head. They counsel me. They understand. They talk to me. They talk to me. They tell me things that I will do. They show me things I'll do.